Welcome back to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast. I'm Jason Balin from Hard Money Bankers, co-host Ian Horowitz from Equity Warehouse, and back in studio, Russ Morgan from Wealth Without Wall Street. If you didn't tune in a few weeks ago, we interviewed Russ a little bit about his company, some of the great things that they're doing related to utilizing financial freedom, and just most importantly, creating passive income and how to create passive income. Because I know that's very, very challenging for a lot of active real estate investors and a lot of active entrepreneurs and business owners that listen to the show. So we want to invite Russ back on to talk about a deal that changed his life. Russ, how you doing again? Glad you can come back, and it's yours. Tell us about a quick deal that maybe has changed your life in a good way or a bad way.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on. I'm going to give you one that you probably wouldn't have thought I would have said. This changed my life in a way that at first I didn't understand it. So the first deal I did, I bought a single family property down in my college town because my buddy was in the process of converting, condos and apartments. And he brought me this deal and he said, man, this is the last one in the project I'm doing. I'm going to give it to you at cost, $85,000. And right now there's one on the market for $120,000. One of my investors has already put it on the market and is flipping it. So you can do this deal. You can make instant cash, but I would encourage you, because we already have a renter in it, just cash flow it for a year or two and then flip it. Well, that was late 2006. Everybody understands what happened, right? Well, a couple of things. One, my college town decided to build an extra like 5,000 units on campus and require freshmen to move into those. So the demand for all these outside units went down. Not to mention the global financial crisis killed it too. Well, here is the thing that really changed for me is that I'm an influencer. I love being involved in stuff. And I had, at the time, 15 different nieces and nephews, half of which were at the age of where they were getting ready to go to college. And I thought, I'll send them down to my college town and they'll stay in this. And by the time my kids get to college age, they'll want to go there too. Why wouldn't they? Because mom and dad went there. And I'll just fill this thing up. To date, I've had 0 of them go to that same college, right? They've all gone to other schools. So what I experienced with this is that I realized that I was not going to be a single family home owner because I had no ability to influence this outcome. And for my profile, it sucked. It was the worst. And so how did it impact me? I didn't invest in any other asset for another outside of Wall Street at the time for 7 years. So it delayed my ability to get to financial freedom by at least 7 years. Because as I sit here today, my business partner and I share every single month on our podcast, we're over $50,000 a month in passive income. But that wasn't until I understood what matched with who I am that got me excited, where I started actually putting real money, doing real deals that created the real passive income. So for me, that one deal, because it was the exact opposite of who I was, delayed my investment into true passive income assets that would have created the passive income needed to help me become financially free.
Yeah, it's like going to the casino. You win the first time you go to the casino, you're like, I'm going back. And if you lose the first time, it might stunt you from going back because you're like, oh, I'm losing money, and I think that's a good thing to recognize. And some people's success is predicated on what happens with their first deal and how they navigate that situation. Now, it's easy to Monday morning quarterback it. Do you think if you would have had 2008 doesn't happen, 5,000 units aren't built, you have success? I mean, have you ever thought about maybe what that looks like differently to you? Or do you think you would still have been abundantly cautious through there because it's your personality type?
Yeah, I 100% believe it would have been the exact same solution, is that I was not able to influence outcome. So maybe, yes, instead of it going from, me paying 85 and it being worth 60 in 6 months and knowing I can't get rid of it,
right?
I just could not, I could not influence this outcome, which for me, for my profile, I want to influence the outcome of it. I couldn't. So even if it was earning, an extra $200 a month in net income instead of, what it did, and it would have been worth a little bit more, yeah, I don't think I would have invested that much more money in it. Because I think I mentioned on the previous show that we did, when we had a podcast guest come on and talk a little bit about short-term rental, I thought, man, that's interesting. That's exciting. That's something that with my profile, I can actually influence the outcome, because I can go on Instagram or Facebook or whatever and say, hey, by the way, we have this company. If you're traveling to this city, you should stay here. On our podcast, we would advertise it. And now I didn't want to do any of the work. I definitely didn't want to be receiving messages on Airbnb from guests that are like, hey, by the way, we need more toilet paper or something. But I was like, I could influence that outcome. And so we went and hired an operator, and we scaled that to over 25 units in less than 18 months. I put out real money into it, right? I put real energy into it. And the outcome, ultimately, we were averaging $25,000 to $30,000 a month net income with having an operator, with having everything paid for. I just would have never scaled the single family home market big enough to hit that, because it didn't match who I was. I couldn't influence it in a way meaningfully, in my opinion. And maybe, yes, I was definitely negatively impacted by what happened in the market space, but I still don't think I would have been one of those who's been on our show that's had hundreds and hundreds of rental units all over the world, all over the US, and and they're excited about it, but their profiles are dramatically different than mine.
Yeah, that's interesting and very mature that you're able to recognize that, or at least look back and reflect on it to recognize. And I don't think enough people do it. We did it a lot in the fire department. We go back and we would replay the incident, what worked well, what didn't, and more people probably should do that in their business life to end up with this beautiful result that you've come up with. Where's the best place people can find you on the internet? They want to learn more about what you guys are doing and how you're passively investing in different businesses and real estate deals.
Yeah, so if you just pull up the App Store, man, and type in Wealth Without Wall Street, you'll see us in there, and just join the community if you haven't already. We also have all sort of free resources on our website, that all these tools, Investor DNA, the Passive Income Operating System, all that stuff's available that you can access. And we'd love to just continue to support you on your way to becoming financially free.
Oh, yeah. Excited for that. So, guys, if you got any value out of this, please feel free to share it. It's the best compliment we can give Russ. If you didn't check out the show we did with him a few weeks ago, go check it out. There was a lot of bombs being dropped in there, a lot of good investment strategies. And with that being said, we will catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Reserve podcast. Do us a favor and like, comment, and share our broadcast. It helps the algorithm and helps us spread the word too. Till next time, thank you for tuning in.